Hail, hail, and welcome to A Celtic World North America. We are part of the Celtic World YouTube channel, which has a series of podcasts highlighting the worldwide Celtic support. And on our show, we give a bit of North American perspective on things. So I feel like I say it every week, but it was another busy week for us. So again, tons of shit to talk about, particularly for the folks who made it to Philly this weekend for the Plough Bhoys Feile. And we'll go over that later on in the show. But amazing weekend. But I'm probably now finally 100% recovered, and I'm ready to do it all again. I wish I could do it this weekend because it was such a fucking blast. So we had Dundee at home, and sparse crowd related to probably partially to the boycott and partially to just how terrible the club has been playing lately. And we left it really late, but able to move on to the next round. Another thin crowd today versus Livingston, and again needed a late goal to get the 3 points. So good thing I'm taking my heart medication religiously because Steve's may fucking kill me. But at this point, it's 3 points no matter how they come, and I think we're all good with that, I'm sure. But so let's get to it. Start off with introductions. Chris, I got to see this weekend. So it's been a couple days. Recovered from Philly.
Yeah, I was on the road to recovery Sunday on the plane, so I ate enough Philly cheesesteaks to soak it all up. But no, it was a phenomenal weekend. It was great to see you and everybody. Got to meet Danny in person. It's just all around what it's about for me. So I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, I loved it, like I said. And yeah, I had met Danny before, but it was good seeing you again this weekend at the Philly, and welcome back to the show. Danny, have you recovered?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, definitely. I feel like I was cold for about the next 3 days after Philadelphia. That was just bone-chillingly cold. But nice to be back in California. It was like 70 degrees when we got off the plane in LA Sunday night, so it was a big change. Coming back just from 16 degrees that morning to 70 that night. Just, we're taking off our long sleeves, putting on T-shirts. Felt like a summer day to us, so it was nice to be back.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday in Philly was just brutal. That was over the top cold. I just walked 2 blocks from my hotel to the Plough, and I was like almost in tears. Like my tears are freezing.
Your tears are freezing,
It's and then last but not least, we got Mick back from Kansas City. Welcome, Mick.
Appreciate it. Sorry if I'm a little bit hoarse right now, but been shouting at the telly for the last 3 months has got me a wee bit hoarse sounding. But yeah, no, it sounds like I missed out on a really great weekend. I realised about it too late, and we've got a 6-month-old baby right now as well, and I actually kept it away from the wife because I knew that she probably would have, cashed in all her babysitting favours for a year to try and make her up there. She loves get-togethers like that. So, but no, in all seriousness, I'm really bummed that I missed out on it.
Yeah, it was a great time, and like I would highly recommend if we do it again next year, or if we do it, in another city next year. It's such a great time. We had a great crowd for it, and we'll talk. Like I said, we'll talk about it later. Get a little more into detail on it, but like it was a blast, and just watching the match with everybody on Saturday was great too. Like and it was a hard match to watch for 95 plus minutes, but we got there in the end. So I guess first things first, we can jump into that. Let's jumping into. Oh, first let me throw some comments up. That must be Mick's wife. Welcome, Alyssa.
Go by our maiden name in there. I see. Must be in the bad books.
Hail, hail, Paul. Hail, hail, Jason. We saw Jason this weekend in Philly. Chris. So thanks for getting in the comments. But So yeah, we had Dundee on Saturday. Home match, Scottish Cup, round of 16, I guess it was. We had and we talked about it last week, the Celtic Collective kind of announcing a proposed boycott of Celtic Park. And it definitely divided opinions. Like I noticed it on social media, even on our show last week. We had David from Philly around here, and then Paul in Chicago. And not that it got like a heated argument, but there was differing opinions on like how we need to go about, fixing the mess at what's happening at the top of this club right now. So it ended up being a pretty thin crowd on Saturday, and I don't think that had really an effect on. It's kind of been dead, the stadium, in the weeks leading up to this match anyway, and it was dead again on Saturday. But I don't know. I guess I'll start with that. Chris, your thoughts on how the stadium looked? I guess the thin crowd.
I mean, it was noticeable. You kind of led into it. I mean, I remember plenty of discussions on Thursday and Friday with various people that we were hanging out with, concerning the boycott. And yeah, I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion about how we move forward, how we progress, how the clubs run. I mean, because everybody's got their own stake in it, right? Like what I think may not be exactly the way you think about it, or may not be the way Mick thinks about it, or it's one of those things that every club has just a divided fan base when it comes to things like that, about how to come together. And I mean, for me, I want to have the bands ended. I want the stadium to be full again, and what that's going to take is unity, and that's got to come from all parties. So that's just kind of how I feel. But the boycott is the boycott. I'm fully behind the collective. I'm fully behind Celtic Football Club, because that's so much of the things that I think about Celtic are the people that I know that I've become friends with, right? So I mean, there's an element of it that has nothing to do with the actual football. So I feel like that's the important thing to focus on for me. But leading into the match, I mean, it was very divided, but I mean, it was 100% noticeable on television. I mean, as soon as it panned to the crowd, I mean, there were blocks and blocks and blocks of empty seats. And I mean, I think that made a pretty big statement, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Mick, what was your thoughts on putting the boycott out there for Saturday's match?
Yeah, it's one of those things, is you've got to watch what you say and who you say it in front of, because this is about as triggering as the political climate here in the US. It is. People are very much divided, and if you look at the attendance numbers, it was pretty much right at half. You're talking about 20. I think you said 28,000 or something showed up, but I think it was even less than that, because you had people showing up and then purposefully leaving, walking out. So making their presence known and making their vacation of the stadium known as well, making a statement that way. So it does have an effect. The media is noticing it. I mean, a lot of times when you see like there's a protest or there's a streaker runs out of the field or something like that, the cameras always pan away from that and focus on the players, so that that fan or that group of fans doesn't get the attention that they're looking for. But this week, especially because of the boycott, because the fans put it out there to say this is what we're going to do, the media picked up on that and they broadcast it, and I think that stands the collective in good stead because more and more people are starting to notice it. And not only that, it is having an effect on the players. Players come to play for Celtic because of the atmosphere that we bring to the stadium. They want to play in front of that, and if they're not playing in front of that, they might as well be playing for Kilmarnock or somebody like that, some mid-table team. And that's what we're showing. And I think it's going to have a positive effect on the whole situation because the club has got no choice but to take notice. Financially, the tickets were already sold for that Scottish Cup game, but it's noticeable, and it really is. If we'd have lost that game, I mean, I would have cared, obviously, because I want Celtic to win every game, but I wouldn't have been too bothered about not winning the Scottish Cup. I wouldn't have. And it's almost like winning that game, that goal that goes in to equalise in the 97th minute, it's probably gone some way to diminish the effect that the boycott would have had. Sucks to say that, but I think that's true. So, but all in all, I think it will be effective. I think the club will start to take notice. But the overall thing about this is the wins paper over the cracks. And if we go on and win this league this season, the board are just going to turn around and go, see, we don't need to try that hard just to be that little bit better than Rangers, or in this case, Hearts this season. So it's what are we willing to give up? Are we willing to give up a league this year for the greater good, or are we just going to try and, cope with more of the same if we do win the league this year? Where does it end?
No, I agree, yeah. I'm going to throw a comment up from Paul, just saying, and I think a lot of people have this opinion too, protesting is to not buy merchandise or food and drink at the stadium and everything else that goes along with that, and kind of starve the club of, the financial aspect of it. And I think that is, it's a viable prospect or protest. And we have been, doing, I think a lot of people have been doing that pretty much most of this year, or at least ever since getting knocked out by Kairat and Almaty in the Champions League. But Danny, real quick, what's your thoughts on the protest and boycott stuff?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like Mick said, it's so political, and you have to really be careful with how you present your own views on it to people. So in the middle of the game on Saturday, we're packed in there like sardines. My dad texts me and asks me if we're watching. And I'm like, yeah, we're watching here. His response, traitor. I'm like, geez, he's really taking the boycott seriously back home. Try not to laugh there. But, he's texting later on. He's reading the recap, and he's, oh, hell of a match. And I'm like, I didn't know you were so vested in this, But it's interesting because everyone has different views on it. And, I don't know what the announced attendance was, but like you boys said, when they panned out, that stadium looked 3/4 empty, at least half empty. That crowd was so minimal. And that really takes away, I think, what it is that, like Mick said, the magic of playing at Celtic Park, of that atmosphere. And, the players have to feel that. And on one hand, like we talked about, I do support the boycott, without buying merchandise or anything like that. But at the same time, I also feel for some of the players, especially the new signings and the loanees coming in, and that's their introduction to Celtic Park, and that has to be tough because I think on its day, it's one of the most magical places in the world to play for a lot of players, and so it's sad on one hand to see it happening that way, and on the other hand, it's almost like like Mick said, it's almost like a necessary evil. Not to say it's evil, but it's sort of a short-term loss for a long-term gain, perhaps.
Yeah, agreed. So I'm gonna stick the lineup up from Saturday. No, this was today's lineup. I don't even have the lineup for Saturday. But so lineup comes out, and we got Mbuka starting on the right wing. So it was good to see a new guy there. He was okay, I thought. But Chris, I don't even remember. I wish I had the lineup put up, but I guess going in, thoughts on how the first half went. It was kind of a nothing game.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much to discuss. I mean, Scales to Trusty to Tierney to yeah. I mean, it's just whatever. Like the first half was, I genuinely felt like it was going to be a 1-0 victory, like all through the first half, right? I mean, there just wasn't any pace. It was dead. It's all like it was not a fun watch. And I'm sitting there and we were, since we're all together in Philadelphia, I look over and the guy sitting next to Peter Grant looks at me and we make eye contact. We both just kind of shaking our head like, where's the drive for this? We just, it's just so lackluster. Rio Hatati, what are you doing? I don't know, man. It was a bummer of a first half, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I remember
square passes CSC.
Yeah, that's 100% us. Yeah, and I remember like halftime comes around, and I walk to go to the bathroom, and just making eye contact with a few of the guys we've had on with us, and we could tell it was just like, oh, it's this again, pretty much. Like, and it's been like this for much of the season. Like, we're just, one, struggling to create chances, and two, we're just not clinical enough to take chances when we do create them. So it's a hard watch. And then so I guess second half starts, and it was Ethan Hamilton for Dundee, scores a beauty of a goal. And Chris's comment to me was that because Sinisalo was in goal, well, at least Sinisalo dove for it. Like, I feel like Schmeichel would have just stood there and watched it go into the corner. That's true. But I guess, Mick, thoughts on the goal for Dundee? It was beauty.
Yeah, it is so frustrating to watch us play against teams that are not or should not be on our level, and we make them look like just absolute superstars. And I don't know what commentary you guys were listening to, but when I was watching it, it was Premier Sports, and it was a Scottish guy, Rory, somebody, and Michael Stewart, who's an ex-Hearts player, and fucking having to listen to Michael Stewart just sook these guys off that play for Dundee, acting like they're fucking prime Messi and Xavi playing in the middle of the park is just absolutely. It's really hard to listen to, but the trouble is like it's the way that we play is making these guys look like that. It's not just that like the guys are, they're coming on again, they're playing a good game, it's a cup game and all that, and everybody raises a level against Celtic anyway. But the way that we are playing, like somebody Alan was saying about the sideways passing and all that, you're just asking for trouble. And it's any opportunity that Dundee carved out came from a stupid side pass or one of our centre backs just having an absolute brain fart, and then we've got all the momentum. That creates a momentum shift by giving away a corner or a free kick that they can launch into our box, and we just don't know how to handle it. Architects of our own downfall every single time. And today was the same. You can see it coming a mile away. And when Dundee scored, I'm like, that is an absolute worldie. But I'm like, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised to see it.
No, not at all. I mean, it was almost you almost have come to expect that kind of thing to happen. Like,
yeah.
And it was. I wouldn't blame Sinisalo for it at all, but I think our defense probably could have done a better job and that happened a lot. Like Hamilton and Congreve, for them, they're just dribbling through us, and it's just. But then, and at the other end, we're just not creating anything either. So it's becoming a hard watch. And you can feel the air go out of the bar on Saturday, like when that goal went in, because you just don't feel like we're capable of doing anything. Danny, what was your thoughts? I guess belief that we would get that goal to equalize, and we'll get to the goal at the end, but
zero belief. We had done nothing that inspired any confidence, that entire match, and leading up until the break, I assumed at some point we would score and we would win 1-0. That was, as Chris said, that was sort of what I thought the outcome would be as well. And as soon as they scored, I'm like, that's it. we're not pushing anything. We do all these horizontal passes. We're a team of Jorginhos at times. We have high passing percentages, but we're not actually progressing. So I always come back to it. Mick said the same thing earlier, but we play up to some teams, like that match against Bayern from a season ago where we looked so great, and then we play down to teams and we make these players look incredible. They make these teams look like prime Barcelona sometimes, and they're dribbling through and we're not challenging, and it's difficult to watch. And we've been bailed out these last few matches, but it's still a difficult watch nonetheless, with the result.
Yeah. So, I mean, later on the match, we get a couple chances, I think, just coming, probably both of them coming down the left wing. One, and Tierney creating a lot of the stuff. Tierney putting in a cross that Yang probably should have done better on, and just missed the goal to the left of the goal. And then Tierney just finding a pocket of space right around probably 10 yards out, but right at the keeper. Got good, power on it, but right at the keeper. So yeah, I'm like Danny. I'm having absolutely no belief at this point in time. And then we get possession and clock's running out. Tierney gets knocked out, right? We have 5 minutes of extra time. And him getting knocked out probably gave us that extra minute or so that we needed on the clock to get that goal. But Chris, I guess take us through the equalizer.
So my thought was when KT got kicked in the face, I'm like, this is just going to end bad, and now we're going to have a hurt KT again. And like that was my initial thought, because I mean he laid on the ground solid and didn't move for a minute, and I'm like, first of all, I hope he's okay, but second of all, does that mean we're down KT again? And like that was my immediate reaction. But the buildup after that happened, we get possession and we get in there, and Junior just pops up and just back heels it into the back of the net. You couldn't have scripted it any better than that. I mean, like if you're writing it, there's no way you could have written that. But yeah, you're exactly right. If KT doesn't get kicked in the face and provide that little extra minute that we needed to score that equalizer, it wouldn't have happened. But on a personal note, I've been going to the Philly Feile for, I don't know, since 2014, and every time we're there, we're always, everybody's watching the match, and the goal goes in, and everybody celebrates, and it's all this thing. That was by far the best goal celebration in a bar that I've ever been a part of, and it may have been how much we've consumed, but that happened, man. It was like the best thing ever. And so there's a realistic kind of like, yeah, we got lucky. And then there's like, oh my God, we're the most magical team on the planet. So, I mean, it's like somewhere in there.
I will concur with you, Chris, that was the best goal celebration that I've, outside of Sailors too. I've been there for Hun games, for Champions League games, and that one topped it. Probably because the size of the crowd, it was packed to the gills. We were sardines in there, and I think just that relief of getting the goal that was totally unexpected, because you had all but given up at that point. Mick, how about you? What was your thoughts on?
Back to what Chris was saying there. I thought, oh, that's KT out again, a fractured face. Didn't in a cup final or something a few years ago, he got his teeth knocked out or something like that. And I'm like, oh, that'll be him out for another wee while. And it's just the story of the season with injuries and just keeping a run of consistent starting 11s going throughout the season is a big part of it. But then moving on to the goal, it was completely unexpected. I was sitting in my bunk at the fire station watching it, and I had it on the tablet. And when it went in, I got to be honest with you, I never even celebrated, because I was looking at it and I was looking to see if it was offside, because I wondered if Araujo had made contact with it or interfered with it at all, because he was about a yard offside. But it showed that he'd skipped over it. I'm like, it was relief. It was overwhelming relief. But at the same time, back to what I was saying earlier, you could almost feel that we'd let the club, and I'm talking about the board and all that, get out of jail with that goal. And I'm conflicted, even as I'm sitting saying this, going, I'm glad that we scored. I'm glad that what happened afterwards happened. But at the same time, I'm like, it sort of diminishes the message a little bit. So, good goal. The guy was in the right place at the right time. I'm still undecided of what type of player Junior Adamu is. I don't quite know if he's an over-the-top kind of guy. He's obviously got good instincts to stick out his heel and know where the goal is and all that. So there's nothing else. That's pretty impressive. We haven't had anything like that since Kyogo left. So that's a good thing. But yeah, overwhelming relief when that goal went in, I would say.
Yeah. Danny, you've been in the Plough a few times. Best goal celebration? I mean, it was.
Oh yeah,
it was fucking insane.
It was, and I think a variety of factors, as you pointed out. It was so unexpected. None of us expected us to score. I don't think at that moment, and it had to be. I mean, I forget the minute and stoppage time, but I thought the game was going to be over any second. So I was just waiting for that whistle to blow, and so that's just what made it even more magical. And like Mick said, even myself in that moment, Sean and I are standing there next to each other, and we're both conflicted. Like, it's great that we scored, but again, is this reinforcing this bad behavior, this bad, lack of an activity? So it's really conflicting at times. But the celebration, yes, was incredible. I'm not one to pull out my phone and record celebrations. I think it's kind of lame at times, to be honest. That's one of the few times that I did that. I'm pulling my phone out. This is such a magical environment in here right now. Trying to do it without anybody noticing. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
So then that was basically final kick of the 90, and then goes to extra time. And then at that point, I was literally like, all right, we're going to win this like 3 or 4-1. That was my mindset. And we score right away. Tenecti scores a beauty from, I think McAllen put him in on a little like give and go, and scores a nice goal. And then I'm like, this is over. Like we're scoring another 2 goals. And of course that doesn't happen because that's just not Celtic this season. And we have to sweat out another 27 minutes or so with a 2-1 lead. I guess, Chris, once the goal went in, how was your confidence that we were going to see that out?
50-50. I mean, like you want me to going into extra time always makes me nervous, and because I've seen too many games that end up going to penalties, right? And losing in penalties is worse, in my opinion, than losing in the first 90 minutes, right? Because if you can't do it in 90 minutes and it's just square passes and it's tough to watch. Extra time didn't prove it, and then you have to go to penalties, and so that for me was kind of in the back of my head is like, well, if we're not up for it, I don't know that we're going to pull this out. But to your point of if it was going to make a difference, right? That we got that second goal and really, we put it in there kind of early. I felt like that probably gave us a good chance. But I don't know, to say all that, I really wasn't as confident as I probably should have been after that goal went in, just because of how this season has gone. Yeah, you're muted, Sean.
Yellow card for Shawnee boy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mute myself because I've had a cough for like fucking 2 months now. Yeah, I wasn't confident. The further it got in, because then I felt like we were going to score right away, and then once I got into that second 15, then we just weren't doing anything again, and then Dundee got a couple, half chances. And the last play of the game, you kind of thought, and again, I think it was Hamilton again who got it right about a few steps inside the 18, and a half volley and skied it left and over the bar, or high and left. So escaping the round of 16 at home versus Dundee is probably not the best thing, but I think that's kind of the best thing we're going to get out of this team right now, the way it's constituted. So I think it's going to be a struggle. And I saw something in the comments and I missed a chance putting it up, and Chris, you've talked about it all throughout the season with Martin in charge. Like they have a little bit of fight to, maybe it's ugly, but there's a little fight in them to get that result, no matter how it comes. And we'll talk about the Livingston match shortly, and that's kind of probably the same story. They showed a little toughness and grit and a little bit of quality at the end that they needed to get 3 points today and on Saturday to get advance in the Scottish Cup. So in preparation for talking about Livingston, and it's kind of foreshadowing what happens in the Livingston match, but signing outside of the transfer window, because we didn't get a chance to talk about him last week, but signing Alex Oxlade Chamberlain. Mick, what was your thoughts at I guess signing him? And I guess again, foreshadowing. So it was a good thing today, but
I think leading up to it, when you heard about it, I kind of dismissed it at first. I'm like, it's not going to happen. The guy's not played for, what was it, over a year or something like that, almost 2 years. And you're like, he's on the downside of his career, etc. This is another Roy Keane sign-in. You'd all of that stuff. So I kind of just dismissed it. But then the closer it got, and then the more you heard about how he was keeping himself fit, and then I got sucked into the YouTube highlights of his best goals and all that. You're going to take that with a pinch of salt, because you know that that's not the player you're getting. But a world-class player is a world-class player, and he's only 32. And you see guys like Messi and Ronaldo playing well into their late 30s, guys like Pirlo and all that have played. And I don't think Ox is quite was ever at that level. But for Celtic, if you're maybe getting something like 70, 75% of the player that he was, I still think that's a good signing. And I maintain that even before what happened today happened, is like, I think he can still come into this team and positively affect the overall team dynamics. I think he can be a game changer at times. And ultimately, I think he can teach the midfielders that are already there to be better versions of themselves. So I'm pretty pleased with it. I'm pretty happy that it happened the way it happened. And, I did my best to block out the parallels with the Aaron Ramsey signing that the Mikey Bob done a couple of seasons ago, which turned out to be Agent Ramsey, as we call him, for his UEFA Cup final performance, which was absolutely fantastic. Whenever I'm feeling blue, I just stick that penalty on. It puts a fucking smile right back on my face.
Yeah. Danny, how about you? What did you think when that signing got announced? You kind of saw it happen in the a build up to it at least, but once it got done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, honestly, I was pretty excited by it. I think he's a fantastic player. Like Mick said, even if you're only getting 75% of the player that he won, I would take that 75%, probably 10 out of 10 times. He's only 32 years old. He's younger than James Forrest. He's not that far off from, McGregor. And yeah, he hasn't played in a year, but you know what? That's 1 year less of wear and tear on his body at the same time.
That's true.
He's clearly been training, taking care of himself. He's saying all the right things. I think it's going to be a really good signing in the long run. it's a pretty low risk signing. It's a 6-month contract, I believe, with that further option. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But there's a pretty low risk level to it, and I'm excited. And based on this one game, this one match, this debut match, like what a debut. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, couldn't beat the debut. So I guess we'll lead that into today's match, and it's always nice having a match a few hours before we do this because it's so fresh in your mind. I feel like I can, I've been like taking notes and shit now that I'm like doing this, like trying to direct the conversation and all, but I don't even need to do it because it's so fresh in my mind. But so I mean, today Livingston, I do have the lineup for that, so I'm gonna stick it up there for Chris. Chris, what was your thoughts when you saw the lineup? I loved it when I saw it.
Yeah, no, I was happy enough. I mean, that's the way we needed to go. I think Negrin and Ingles and McGregor in the midfield. Srirachi, it's great to see him in the lineup. I feel like KT's had several matches in a row where he's had a lot of time. So it was good to give him a little bit of a rest. But yeah, no, I was happy about it.
Yeah, and I guess the odd thing was having Dyson and Tenecti playing together because you knew one of them had to kind of play in the off position or the other wing that they have not been playing on. And I thought Tenecti was great, playing on that other side today. So I think that was good to see. And we started off great. Like, obviously, I mean, I actually wrote down, I was writing down, like, chances. The first 10 minutes of the game, it went, like, probably had, like, 8, 9 pretty solid chances. Most of them we end up firing right down the, mouth of the keeper. And makes him look good. McGregor had right from the edge of the box, and I don't think the keeper saw it till the last second. So he made a really nice save considering that. A lot of the other ones were like kind of just reaction saves, but mostly right at him. Like Dyson had a couple. Shvanchara had the one where he showed like over the top ball, like amazing touch, bringing it down, but then again right at the keeper. So Mick, I guess, what was your thoughts on the first 20 minutes or so? How we started off?
Yeah, it's typical. It's typical Celtic. It's high energy. It's high pressure. It's the sort of horseshoe around the 18 box, probing mentality. Couple of chances early on. Again, high energy stuff, but just not taking them. Not clinical enough. And every chance that we take, it just lets the other team sort of survive and grow in belief. And like I said, if we don't score in the first 10, 15 minutes, you can see the anxiety in our play starting to creep in. So it unfolded exactly the way I thought it was going to unfold. And of course, like, a couple of them, like the Shvanchara chance, is a sitter. I mean, it's a great touch. He makes the chance himself, but that's a sitter. You're in the middle of the goal, and the keeper's even fallen to his left side before Shvanchara even hits the shot. And it's just like, just lift your head and see what the goalie's doing and lift it over the top of him, or even try and take it around them. Maybe they'll take it around them because he had a lot of pressure from the defenders. But that, in my mind, is a sitter. And that goes as a strike against the guy. I know he's new. I know you got to give him a chance, etc. But that's a bad one. The Tenecti misses a sitter as well. Some wayward passes from Srirachi's, again, letting Livingston stay in the game, get on the counter attack, and take the pressure off of us. So it was one of those things. It was just like waves against the beach continuously, but nothing happening. And you could just see them growing back into the game, and us again trying to hide their anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, it probably should have been 3-0 after 10 minutes,
at least.
And like you said, Shvanchara was a sitter. He did the hard part. The hard part was bringing that ball down over the top. Easy part was probably just talking it past the keeper. So yeah, that's frustrating. We got the goal on around 15 minutes from Srirachi. What do you think of the goal, Danny, on Srirachi?
Full disclosure, I have not seen the match or the highlights. I was in a retreat all day.
Yellow
I'm
card
so
for
sorry.
Boy.
It's okay. It
No,
happens.
Can we edit that one out for the VOD?
Nah, we're stuck. It's fine.
it was a vote of unity with my father here, boycotting. But
There you go.
I'm at a work.
Good on you, son. Good on you.
All right. Then I'll go to
work
Chris. What do you think of the goal?
I mean, it was a great goal.
Yeah.
It was great to see him score. Srirachi looked really good today. I mean, his pace. He does something that KT doesn't do. I mean, because KT drives and drives and drives and drives, but sometimes he gets stuck, and he doesn't move out of that area. Srirachi moves out of that area, and he moves in places that you don't expect him to be. So, I mean, if just from that aspect. But you were talking about writing notes, for down or whatever. Like, I actually wrote it down at halftime. 17 shots in the first half, 10 on target. I mean, that's like, I don't. Every single episode of this, I have been on here and like that final third is our Achilles heel this year. I mean, it's just chance after chance after chance after chance, and we just don't take it. And like I even texted you after the match, and I'm like, one of these matches, some of them are like, all of them are just going to go in, and we're going to beat somebody like 9-0, because like it's ridiculous. I mean, we really should have been up 3-0 at halftime today. We really should have. But
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the bane of my existence at the moment. Is just like when we get down to that final third and it gets into that horseshoe that we're just working it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Man, we've got to sink that ball in the back of the net.
Oh yeah, and like Mick was saying, when you don't. And especially, like, we did score the one goal. We kind of fell off after that. But then when you like, Livingston had to go into halftime just thrilled to be only down 1-0. Like, and that, I mean, they probably that's something you can build on, and they did. We came out in the second half, and like just didn't create a lot of those chances we created right in the beginning of the match. I think a big key, and I didn't mention it before, but losing Engels, I think, was a huge miss. And, I think we lost him around 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And Hatate came on and was, Hatate all season. And
honestly.
Struggled, to put it mildly. So that hurt us, I think, too, and probably – It was probably a big drop off when you think about it. When Engels went off is probably when that chance creation went down a lot too. Not that we're putting away any chances, but again, so you leave that 1-0, and then you're like, fuck, they're just gonna get a cheap goal somehow. And I didn't write down the minute that it happened today, but it happens in the second half. It's probably in the 50.
It was like 50-something, 56 minute or something like that.
Hatate, and you see that kind of penalty a lot where the defender doesn't see the guy behind him coming in to play a ball and just kicks out and just kicked them. And I felt like it was easy. I saw some people complaining about it on social media. I'm like, no, there's no way. That's
Stonewall penalty. Yeah. Absolute Stonewall penalty.
Yeah.
And sorry to jump in, but like stupidity. I could rant on for about 3 weeks of podcasts about fucking Rio Tati. I'm sick and tired of watching them. And that today, yeah, you see that penalty a lot. But number one, strikers and guys going into the box are looking for it because they know they're going to take contact. And it's almost as if the guy just threw his body in there in front of Hatate because he knows he's going to kick him. And it's stupidity on Hatate's part because he should have the awareness of what's around him and not just blindly kick out your leg. Yep. And that's schoolboy stuff as to where you just swing your leg to try and clear everything out, just away from danger. and that's completely on him. I've thought Engels, if you rotated him out, honestly, I don't think that you would notice. But when he goes out today and Hatate comes in for him, that's where I was like, Jesus Christ, because based on how he played in the Dundee game, I had the fear because he was just giving the ball away. Hatate plays with such anxiety that he can't string a 5-yard pass together with a teammate. And things that he used to do with the ball, you have the ball at the edge of the box. The last time I seen it was early in the season against Aberdeen, where he hits a worldie, and that's been the exception. And he's so shot shy. He doesn't make that intricate pass that he used to do, and that's what set him apart. That's what made him one of the most valuable players on our team. And now that he doesn't do that, he doesn't bring that to the table, he's a liability. And today was the epitome of that.
I agree.
Yeah, it definitely showed. So Livingston tucks away the penalty. I had, no faith at all that Schmeichel was going to save it. And he didn't, of course. I can't think of many penalties that Schmeichel has saved.
See if somebody had a shot Schmeichel and he'd have just fell down right in the middle of the goal there, he would have had a better chance of saving it than what he did.
Yeah.
If he played like he normally does and not moved for a ball, then
exactly
he would have saved it. But yeah, so then we have 30 minutes to try and get that winner, because the draw, I think, would have done us a little good. A home draw against Livingston would have been pretty devastating. And again, we're not creating much. It's like Chris said, it was a lot of. Livingston was packed in super tight. Like it was almost 11 guys in the box really playing defense. You had Trusty and Scales 30 yards out, like from their goal, and it was a lot of the horseshoe, like Tenecti to back to Scales, back to Trusty, and they're swinging around. They just can't get anything going. And then I guess it was like the 92nd or so minute. We had brought Oxlade-Chamberlain on earlier, but that was where he, I think, really showed his class and just calmness that a lot of the other guys. McGregor has that a little bit, but that was like the epitome of just a cool central midfielder getting in that spot, had a little bit of time and just knew where he was going to put it and just picked out that spot on the, put it into the side of the net. And like, again, I'm working in my basement. My wife had just got home from work and I start yelling in the basement. She's like, "Are you still working?" Exactly, I guess. But yeah, it was a beauty of a goal. And again, relief. Chris, what was your thoughts when the goal went in?
Well, same sort of thing. I got a work call right after he came on, so I came back from the call because I walked outside actually to be on the phone because I had the match on my other screen, and I saw the replay and I'm like that was exactly why he was signed, right? Like that's why you bring somebody with his kind of characteristics into the squad. I sort of liken it to, you remember several years ago when Kolo Toure came on and he played in defense and he was more like the wise elder that was back there that could kind of bring some of these young guys and say, hey, instead of doing this, do that. Just kind of shape them in the way that he has known. And because at 32 years old, yeah, he still has some time in him, but if you want him to be in his prime, that's not who he is right now. Right now, he's about bringing his knowledge to us, and especially people in that midfield. And that goal is just, he knew where he was without knowing exactly where he was, if that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
his spatial awareness is. I mean, if you go back and watch it, I mean, you could almost see it click where he's like, I know that I'm at 4 feet from here. Da 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 da. He just turns and kicks it, and I mean, it was a fantastic goal. So, yeah, I'm super delighted for him. We escaped with another win, so happy
Yeah.
days.
And yeah, you're right. And it was he had and that's what the amazing thing. He's got that spatial awareness and just calmness on the ball, and he hasn't played a competitive match
Exactly.
in how long? So I don't know. I'm excited to see what he can do towards the end of the season, and maybe if Engels is out for a bit of time, maybe he's able to kind of fill. I don't know. I didn't hear anything about what it was. So I guess we gotta wait and see about that.
I'm going to take a guess that it was his quad, that he pulled his quad.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Yeah, you're probably looking at 4 to 6 weeks or something like that, I'd say.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking. So in the end, 3 points, and obviously we need those 3 points, and we need them, pretty much every week. And then the added bonus at the end, Hans were playing, I think, about 10, 15 minutes behind us. She gets the equalizer, which is fucking awesome. Danny, did you get to see that result, Danny? The Welsh equalizer.
I
didn't see the highlights yet, but
no, I didn't see his goal, but I was dying at I think the same chat you're in, Sean, Agent Welsh doing his job.
Yeah.
I was just sitting here laughing in my comments.
Yeah. I saw the one Eddie posted the picture. It was like I don't know if it was Welsh, but it was like the Motherwell jersey with the kneecap hat. Agent Welsh getting the win or getting the equalizer versus the Huns was and that's awesome. And that's why I almost when we were still had him on the squad towards the end of the window. I'm like, I feel like we just need to, and almost for that reason, just send him back to Motherwell. Maybe he'll do us some good. Because I'm not worried about Motherwell getting. I mean, they're getting kind of close to the top of the table, but they're not the team I'm worried about. So go do some damage against Hearts or the Huns, because he can't play against us. So so that was hilarious and good for him. I'm sure he was loving that. I'm sure he heard from every player on the Celtics team tonight about giving us a little help. Let me play before we move on. I'm gonna play a quick spot from our sponsor. Find it. So bear with me 1 second.
Every life is full of stories, and we all know someone whose story should be preserved. That's what an audio memoir is, a record of you or your loved one's life stories, family anecdotes, and poignant memories. We will talk online and then edit the recordings into episodes, accompanied by family photos and contemporaneous images of the past, creating an enduring audio-visual experience. Links can be shared with friends and family, both near and far, who will delight in hearing their loved ones' priceless stories in their very own voice. For the participant, this can be a touching, nostalgic reflection. For friends and family, a unique and precious gift in the present, and even more so in the future, where their voice, their laughter, their love can always be there. We all know someone who deserves an audio memoir.
Yeah, so again, thanks to Audio Memoir for sponsoring the channel. I think if you mentioned at Celtic World on Place an Order, you get a discount. So again, thank you. So then I think we'll move on again. So 3 points today, great. Hans dropped 2 points. Love it too. And we've talked about it a little bit in, at the beginning, and then mixed in with the Dundee match. But last weekend in Philly was the Feile that we do. We started doing it, was it 14 years ago or no?
12.
12 years ago, yeah.
2014.
Yeah, that's right. 12 years ago, and taken some years off here and there, and other years where Pittsburgh took one over. So it's, and we talked about it. It's always just one of those amazing weekends where you get to connect, you get to, see some of your old friends. Like I met Chris there. I probably met Danny there at some point over the years. So to getting to do that, meet your old friends, make new friends, drink a lot of beer, listen to some Irish music, watch the match with your pals, which like I said, that equalizer on Saturday was unreal. But Chris, I have pictures, and we could talk a little more about the specifics of it. But what was your thoughts on the weekend as a whole?
It was magic the moment that we got off the plane. Everybody's texting one another, "Hey, what time are you getting down there?" Da 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 da. And you're standing in a room with the first night because we got in on Thursday. We had a smaller number of people there, but there was still 15 to 20 people that we. I didn't get in Thursday night to the hotel until about 3 a.m. and I didn't actually know what time it was, but Sean told me the next day, like, "Oh yeah, you got in at 3." So that was kind of fun. But like you're saying, it's meeting up with all the people that are there that you've been talking to, and then you're hanging out, and you're on the piss, and it's fantastic. And it only builds like the next day, right? So there was the big bar crawl where everybody left, and we were going to meet up with everybody, and then they only had one bartender at one place, and we didn't get there, so we kind of did an alternate bar crawl. But we all ended back up at the Plough, and by the time the music was going and jars were going down, and everybody's in a sing song and getting stuff in. It's phenomenal for several reasons, but more than anything else, that to have that camaraderie, because there was 300 people there probably Saturday.
I would say close to that.
If you get in a room that has 300 people that all have the same, Celtic in their heart and love of the club and everything. You can't ask for anything better than that. And especially to have it over here in North America and Philly. God, there was 13 inches of snow on the ground. You think my Tennessee ass needed to be walking around in 13 inches of snow? No. But I did, and I loved every second of it. But it's crazy to me that this is here for us, right? That we can as a part of the Irish diaspora that immigrated here and came through Philadelphia, I can go back there and see the famine memorial and think of my ancestors when they came here, right? And I can look around the room and I can see everybody's face that has a Celtic story, and we all share that, and man, that's something to be celebrated. If you can't celebrate that, man, like that, I don't know. It's just it was a phenomenal time, and I'm welling up with emotion just thinking about it.
No, I'm totally with you. Danny, how about you? I know we got to hang out a little bit this weekend. You got in on, was it Thursday? The whole weekend's a fucking blur, but were you in on Thursday night too? Yeah, you were in Thursday, I think.
Yeah, we got in Thursday. One of my best mates from here in Fresno, California, he now lives in Philadelphia. We were college roommates out there, and he stayed after we graduated. So we went out with him and his wife on Thursday night, had dinner with them. And that was sort of our only non-Feile activity, was that event. And then we were back at Plough after, and enjoying the festivities. Incredible time. Absolutely incredible time.
Yeah, I'll stick up. I got some pictures.
Just
all the flags. I'll make it look better this way. The flag's hanging up. They had Connor. We were hanging out with Connor from Holy City all weekend. You guys had your flag, Danny, and like
class flag too.
Love it. It's my favorite
Thank
one,
you.
I think. And then just like this was the game on Saturday. I think we're kind of mixed in there. You can see there's Chris and Connor's tucked in there somewhere too. And just then a couple of the Columbus guys. So for us, like doing this show every week, we get to see a lot of these guys and meet them for the first time. Like a couple of them, Sean Duff, who's on from Long Island, he was on with us one time, and like it's funny, just like I've never met him before, and he just comes walking up. I'm like, yo, like. Another one of those guys you feel like you've known just your whole life, and then the whole second half of the match on Saturday, we're trying to get the singing going in the bar because you could tell the tension in the bar, like it kind of loosened it up a little bit, but just a lot of those guys. Like I said, we had all the Columbus guys. Peter from Nashville was in, and there was another guy from Nashville too, I think, right, Chris? You said, or
me?
Well, besides you, wasn't there somebody else on your plane?
No. That was Ryan. He just was on my flight.
Oh,
gotcha. He was on my flight, but he's
okay.
Yeah.
That's right. So, and then post match on Saturday, there was a little tribute to John Fallon, the original Holy Goalie, and one of the Lisbon Lions, the 12th man, as they say. He came as our special guest back in 2018, I believe, and kind of fell in love with the city. He was here for when the Eagles, but the way the Feile works out almost every year is it's on Super Bowl weekend. And 2018, the Eagles were in the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots, and he became a diehard Eagles guy, and kind of would make time for any of the Philly boys who would come over to Glasgow or even on away trips. I think Joe Brooks was talking about that. He kind of gave a little talk, and I'm gonna put it up at the end. Eddie Cantwell, who cheers Eddie Cantwell. He sets up a lot of the events for the Feile, and just does an amazing job, and everybody at the Plough, from the bar staff like John Joe and all the crew there, Seamus, Joe Brooks, Chris is the president. They're just, like I was talking about with Danny before the show, it was so well run. The events were like well timed out. Like usually it gets a little hectic and it falls off schedule. It was tight to the schedule that they had planned, and so kudos to all of them. I have links to the videos for we had Joe Brooks did a little talk about John Fallon, and actually the city of Philadelphia city council did a proclamation honoring John Fallon, and I think the governor's office in Pennsylvania too. And they invited John's son Brian up on stage, and then Brian got to talk about his dad's love of Celtic and love of Philly, and there was like not many dry eyes in the house, I would say. I know me, I was maybe shedding a few tears, and I thought the best part was the bell that John Fallon was ringing. They just had a little green bell that ringing, and he was ringing that when the Eagles scored in the Super Bowl at watching the game in the Plough, and they ended up giving that to his son Brian as a gift, and he was ringing that when during the match and all, and it was just a great event. we will have to get Mick there. I'm doing my best to sell it, and I think Kansas City is kind of a hike. Chris made it from
Yeah.
Tennessee.
A direct flight straight there would be just fine. I'll be there next year.
Yeah, so
Detroit in April.
yeah, Detroit in April, we could do that too. I put
Yeah,
a comment
you're
up from Mick's wife was asking, because Chris, you were talking about it. Are Philly
Well,
cheesesteaks good?
Well, the one that I had at like midnight on Saturday night. Now, granted, this is going to go way off topic, so hang on. But like, I can't eat beef; like I'm allergic to it. So it was chicken, and I get back to the hotel room, and my wife, my lovely wife that accompanies me on these things, she goes, there's a chicken Philly in the bag, and I'm like, wow, I love it. And I open it up, and it's from Shays. And they're in Philadelphia, and I know everybody's got an opinion on cheesesteaks, but the chicken cheesesteak that I had, it was probably the best meat sandwich that I could have that I've ever had in Philadelphia. Now I'll also say this. Y'all put way too much cheese and fat on all your foods, and the salads that I ate on Sunday when I got home were delicious, and I feel better because of it. So, but yes, cheesesteaks are delicious, but don't go to the tourist traps.
Yeah, there's Pat's and Geno's. They're the big tourist trappy ones, but there's a ton of good places, and like you said, everyone's got their own opinion on what the best one is. And Chris, I get it that you can't eat it if you're allergic to it, but I don't know if you had a proper cheesesteak though. Then I think the beef ones are the.
when I wasn't allergic to it, then yes, I would have loved to eat it.
Yeah, but so I can't wait for the next one, and I know I'm going to Detroit in April for their little 5-year parties, and Chris, I don't know if you're booked up yet for it, but
I'm not booked, but
I'm not booked yet either.
I'm planning on it.
Yeah, same here. So, it's a good comment.
Exactly. Yes. Amen. See, that's exactly what I'm saying. They put too much cheese and salt and fat. Ugh.
That's why I take my heart medication because of my cholesterol. But yeah, and then probably we had the full Irish breakfast on Saturday morning at the Plough, and that was pretty good.
Yeah, Scottish breakfast, black pudding, haggis. Irish breakfast doesn't hold a candle to it.
So I can't wait for the next one, and hopefully they don't skip a year next year in Philly, because for me it's so easy getting there. I'm an hour from the city, but I got a hotel on Thursday and Friday night. And I was, like Chris said, I was the one who told him we were out till 3:00, and I didn't know we were out till 3:00 either until I got up the next morning. I texted my wife at 8 a.m. and she's like, "Go back to bed. You didn't get home till 3:00 last night." I'm like, really? Didn't seem like that. But and then we did the same thing on Friday night. But I'm getting too old for that shit. But I was in bed by 9:00 on Saturday night. So let's move on. I guess last topic. And from now on, like, every match is huge. And so we got Kilmarnock at Rugby Park on the weekend. So again, 3 points are a must. Killy's been playing well lately. So I feel like almost no easy dates on the calendar from now until the end. No. We're not good enough to have easy games. Mick, what's your expectations for the weekend?
More of the same. It'll be just like it was. My only issue is, number one, Killy are in a bit of form these last couple of games, apart from the Hun game for when they deliberately shot themselves in the foot, if you ask me. And number two, they've got that wee prick McCann there, who's one of the dirtiest little Hun pricks I've ever come across on a public broadcast. So all jokes aside, McCann will have them up for the game. He knows Celtic well, both in their play style and philosophy, and I think he'll have them well drilled. I do have the expectation that it's going to be us mostly with the ball. Again, with the 5 meter rugby defense. I don't know if you guys have ever watched rugby, but it's like watching the team 5 meters out from the try line, just break down, passing it to the side, going forward, break down, and it just keeps going until somebody gets a foul or something like that, takes the pressure off. So that's what I expect. That's a negative attitude. I understand that. I want to be positive, but it's like you guys were saying, we're not playing good enough to be positive. We're not playing good enough to go and expect a good performance and a convincing victory at any of these grounds.
No, yeah. How about you, Danny? Expectations for it's Sunday, right? They play on Sunday. I think it's Sunday. Sunday, 10 a.m.
Yeah, expectations are, like Mick said, they're admittedly low at the moment. It's going to be more of the same. We might be rescued at the end again, as we have been these last few matches, and then it just it papers over the cracks even more. But like you said, I was looking at the table. I think it was earlier today because I saw they'd won their match earlier, and they, aside from the Rangers match, they'd won the match before that as well. So they are in a bit of form. And like you said, we're not good enough to take any of these teams lightly at the moment. We simply aren't. So you hope for the best, but it's it. Time is that papering over the cracks again in the problem. So does it reinforce the lack of investment? So it's a very conflicting feeling at the moment.
Yeah. We're not in good enough form to take home games for granted nowadays, that's pretty shocking for Celtic to be in this point. But also this weekend, Huns and Hearts are playing, so hopefully, the stadium explodes. But yeah, other than that, I'll take a draw. I guess a draw will be the better for me. Because at the end, I've watched the last Hearts. I would say that is a good thing about being in this like 3-way title race. It makes it's more fun in terms of like I watch Hearts games now, which I never watched. I'm fully invested in watching Hearts games. I don't watch Hun games because I feel like it's bad karma to watch them, but I do watch Hearts. Maybe at some point watching Hearts will be bad karma too. But I think they're not that good, and I think they will start dropping more points as they go. Huns are the team I am more concerned about in this title race. So outside of a draw, I will take a Hearts win versus them. Chris, I guess thoughts on us first, Killy, and then the Hearts game too.
I could care less.
No?
I'm not even going to comment on that. But for us, Mick's 100% right. McCann's a filthy I'm concerned about some of those tactics because we've seen that, I don't know, on and off all season from various clubs. Just knowing how we play, they take advantage of that kind of dirty aspect of it, and I'm just whatever. I feel like we can probably do it, but this is the business end of the season, right? So if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, right? But if we're not, we're not. I mean, it's like it's put up or shut up time.
Yeah, I guess last thing we'll talk about, and Chris, you got your point. You don't give a shit about the Hearts.
Well, no,
and that's fine.
It's not necessarily that. But it's like what do I want to have happen, and like I want to turn the channel. I don't want to hear them don't want to hear them speak. I don't want to watch them run. Like, fuck them. I don't know. Like, I think that's where you and I are going to differ on this. Is that like I don't want to watch them. Like, I hate them.
No, I agree. And when it comes down to it, we need to. If we do our business, it really doesn't matter what anybody else does.
Yeah, exactly. It's Kirby Smart mentality. You're like, I only care about us. Like,
Right.
you know, anything happens out of that, whatever.
Yeah, so I guess we'll leave it at that then.
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be a whatever, but no, I
No, you're good. I'm loving the McCann comments.
Brilliant.
We can just put these on.
Oh, that's
Like
great.
Ken and Sligo boy have got me rolling here. I've been sitting reading these comments just picking
That's
myself.
great. Mm.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, keep them coming.
Oh.
So I guess we'll wrap it up there. I think. So I mean, it's you'd see people kind of we're complaining a little bit about the form of Celtic, whereas some people are like, we got the 3 points, so like leave it alone. But I think we've gotten to the point at this club where we have expectations to do a little better than that. So I think it's fair enough to be unhappy with the state of the results. And last McCann comment of the night. And then we'll wrap it up there. Thanks, Mick, for coming on. Thanks, Danny. It's good to have you guys on. It was good hanging out with you this weekend in Philly, Danny. And we'll definitely get you guys on again. Good luck to your guys' clubs. I know, Danny, you guys are up and trying to get up and running. So it's I know it's not easy. So, but you guys seem to have a good plan, and you got great merch. Like, I loved all the stuff you guys had at the Plough this weekend. So
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, boys.
yeah, it was fun. So again, thanks for coming on, and we'll wrap it up there. Chris, hail.
Check it out.
We'll be back next week, and we have not talked about who we're going to have on next week, so we'll figure that out as we go. So we'll see you next week, same time, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Hail, come on the hoops, and let's get 3 more points this weekend versus Killy. Later.
See you, boys.